All right. All right. Hello, everybody. I hope you can hear me. Welcome to the now back on the track every other Sunday Rooftops of America live stream. Our first one for 2025. Pretty exciting. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you all had a good New Year. As you can see, I'm back in Pennsylvania and, going through the motions of the new year. Tonight, I'm enjoying Everything Nice by Omegang. It's a blonde, seasonal blonde. A little bit of my Christmas stash that I'm still working my way slowly through. So, looks like this. And so let's start off with the big news. I'm very happy to say that tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock, 7 a.m., over your coffee, over your breakfast, if you will be able to take in the Puerto Rico episode. It is complete. It is uploaded. It's ready to go. I'm sort of I was literally working on it about 3 minutes before this stream started. So I am happy to say that it only took 23 months to get it done, but it is finished, and I hope you all enjoy it. I will say that as time was going on, I was like, I got to get this out. I really wanted to get it out around New Year's. It didn't happen. Hence the reason you ended up getting a short that I was like, I better throw something out there to whet the appetite a little bit. So you got the 5 facts of Pennsylvania. Um, but yeah, Puerto Rico is finished, and it is quite, I'll be honest, I think it's the most complex episode I've ever had to edit and assemble. The way we filmed it, working with my friend and colleague Sil, was a huge growth experience for me. Like, he is a top flight videographer, filmmaker, and I learned a ton. And editing that quality of footage was a learning experience too. So I think it looks good. um, Hi, everyone. Pretzel. Yeah, let's go right to the chat quick. How's it going? It's going well. I did get into the high pointer Apex to Zenith, and that's all thanks to Lauren Toner. She has been writing that column for a while now, and I was extremely flattered um, to see her write up. And once again, a huge thanks to Lauren for that inclusion. And I'm hoping that our fellow high pointers who read Apex to Zenith that have never encountered Rooftops of America check out the channel, and they like what they see. It was really cool. I'm still sort of giddy about that. It was, I don't know, I'd been tipped off a little bit ahead of time, but I wasn't sure on what it was going to be, what it was going to look like, and there it was. So it was pretty cool. So, yeah, if you get Apex to Zenith, if you're part of the High Pointing Club, check out this last edition. There I am. The picture they used was the one I took at Indiana in August of 2023, almost 10 years to the date. And I'd talked about this a while back. That was almost 10 years to the date that the first time I ever went to that high point and started my high pointing journey. So I think it was a pretty appropriate picture. Who else we all have? Bill. Hello, Bill. Glad you're here. Eric. Hello. Glad you're here too. Did you do that same time as Virgin Islands? No. Puerto Rico was done in February. We filmed it in February of 20. I can't believe it's already 2025. We filmed it in February of 2023 over the President's Day weekend. It was a super aggressive film schedule. We probably could have easily had another day. We could have probably had a full week, and still, I don't think done Puerto Rico justice. I think we did a good job. Don't get me wrong. I think the work definitely, you can see the quality of the work, but it's such a cool place, and there's so much to see there. And it was, I don't know, it's a favorite of mine. The high point might not be the most. It's the tropical version of. Well, no, that's a disservice. If you can get amazing views up there, but you're sharing that summit with antennas and communication towers and that. But you do get spectacular views when it's a clear day on Serra de Punta. So it's really a cool place. But Puerto Rico has so much to offer. So much to offer. If you love coffee, that's the place to go. If you love good food, the food is phenomenal. Um, and they even have a halfway decent craft beer scene these days. So if you're into that, and plus you got the beaches, you got the fortresses, it's just a really cool place. I love it. Eric, I think I said hello to Eric. I'm glad you're here. Your boy Alex, good evening to you as well. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I am coming up on 3,000 subs. I don't know what I'm going to do for that. Um, it always it sounds funny, but every time I hit 1,000 more, I always think of, like, since I grew up in a small area, rural area, and the towns weren't very big, I tend to run the numbers in my head of like when I hit 1,000 way back when, the first thought that went in my head was I've got more people subscribed to my channel that live in the village of Athens, which was like 9 miles south of where I grew up. So one of the benchmarks in my head about 3,000 subs is one of the benchmarks that I have for this channel is when I hit, I think, around 4,000, a little over 4,000 subs. I'll have um, more subscribers than the the city that I went to, like, school, Medford, Wisconsin. Yay, yay, Medford! I'll have more subs than people that live in Medford. I know it sounds foolish, but that's actually the one of the things that always goes through on the counter. The other thing that always goes through on the counter is the elevations of places. So if a certain number pops up, like, so when we're getting close to, once I clear 3,000 and I'm slowly working my way up, I'll be like, oh, I got more subs than the elevation in Pennsylvania and stuff like that. It's the things we do with numbers. So, um, yeah, I'm excited for that. I haven't given a thought of what I'm going to do in particular yet, but I'll probably do at least a thank you on that. So, can you drive, or okay, so driving to the top of Puerto Rico, yes, you can, but um, you definitely would want a four-wheel drive vehicle. That road is narrow, um, like narrow, narrow. That is one of the things that I don't think we did a good enough job showing, just how narrow that road is and how washed out in certain places it was. It is in bad shape. That road is in rough shape. The hike from the base is only like 2/3 of a mile up. It's not a bad hike. You can easily walk. It's steep. I will definitely say that. It is a steep hike, but you can walk it with minimal difficulty. So, You just take the road all the way up. I know there's supposedly other trails um, through, I want to say, through the Toro Forest or whatever. Um, and it, I, when I was looking into that, I couldn't find those trails though. But that is something, if I was going to go back and do it again, or when I do, because I think Puerto Rico is awesome. And since I've been there once and I've been there twice now, I will definitely go back a third time. I will try to find the hiking trail to go to the top. My hiking plans for Puerto Rico going forward in the future is to one, to get up to the top of El Yunque, and then to find the hiking trail, the actual single track, so to speak, that takes you to the top of Cerro de Punta. In PR, you're back on the right side. The only place in the U.S. you drive on the left side is the Virgin Islands. So, um, Puerto Rico is it driving wise. If you can drive in the continental United States, you can easily drive in Puerto Rico. That said, once you get off the main roads, the roads are narrow and windy. Um, the Ruta Panoramica is, you're not going to go down that road anyway fast. When we were there shooting, we always felt that 20 miles, you were an hour from everywhere. Um, you weren't going anywhere fast though. Like if something was 20 miles away, it was going to take you an hour to get there just because it was so windy, so narrow, and you could never really go quick. And that's fine. You're on island time. Take your time. But yeah, if you get a chance to go, by all means do. And Cerro de Punta is easily, it's going to take, you have to commit a day to it. It's not a place where you're going to just fly into San Juan and be like, look, I got I got a 4 hour layover, whatever. No, you're going to need more time than that. You're committing yourself to a 6 to 8 hour adventure. So, um, hey, Ron, nice for you to. I'm glad to see you. I saw you recently posted your walkabout. I think in Amsterdam, and about one of your shirts. It's already been in 4 different countries. First, thank you very much for buying a bit of merch. I'm actually, instead of wearing flannel tonight, I am wearing merch tonight, and 4 different countries. Wow, that's awesome. That is awesome. You are not the only person. Another friend of mine, colleague of mine, uh, recently told me that the hoodie she had purchased was now traveling around the world too. So that's really cool. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it, and I hope you're doing well this new year. So, CTOS, nice of you to be here. PR, we drive in the same direction as the US, but we use kilometers. Yes, that is true. It's all in kilometers. So, um, I've I had no issues. If you like the times I've driven in Puerto Rico, if you've driven rural type roads, or if you've driven narrow mountain roads, stuff like, you're going to be fine, absolutely fine. So I found driving in Puerto Rico to not really be much of a challenge. Just, keep your head on a swivel and you'll be totally fine. So, um, 2 hours to drive to CDP from the airport. No, I would not bank on 2 hours from the international, I think it's Louis Munoz International Airport. You're going to need more time than that. I would say give yourself more time um, than that. Yeah, pretty much anywhere in the world uses kilometers instead of miles. That is true. We are the odd man out. CTOS, where in PR were you born? In other words, when I plan to go back, I might have to get in touch with you to pick your brain My friend Raphael has a list of places that I have failed to go that I really need to go. He was born, I want to say he was born in Arecibo, but he now lives in the DC metro area. But yeah, he's got a list of places that I need to check out. So I'd be curious on your recommendations also. So, in other news, California, I'm happy to report, is well underway. I've got the second version. There's still a couple holes in it, but I've seen really good stuff. Um, it looks good. I think California is going to be another hit, another good one. And um, according to Brett, who's doing the editing, we got a ton of material. We shot tons and tons of material. So I may have mentioned that last time too. But so California, you can expect hopefully in February. I would like to get back on a sort of regular cadence. Um, I've got with California coming out, that's new content. I redid Alabama almost a year ago, and that's going to be coming back. That'll be coming out, the updated version of that. And I've been wondering if anybody here um, is planning on doing Charles Mound in anybody's planning on doing Charles Mound in February, because I've been thinking maybe I've done Charles Mound twice, but it's always been on the summer dates, and I feel like that would be fun to do a winter ascent. um, so I don't know, if not this President's Day weekend in February, then probably next year. Hopefully the new owners will. I think I think it's open this. I'm gonna have to check again, but um, yeah. So um, it's definitely a cool. I don't know. I think it would be fun to do Charles Mound in the winter simply because if I'm going to redo that episode, um, winter stuff always looks cool. The snow always is fun. So, Eric, you haven't done it yet. We'll have to get you. Sorted. Um, Charles Mound is. Yeah, it's definitely one that when I redo it, I want to. It's gonna be like, here's Charles Mound, but I feel like I need to showcase a few other things to really make it compelling. Speaking of which, my current drill as I've been thinking of what I want to um, reshoot for things I want to reshoot this year to update certain episodes. I know I've mentioned Nebraska, but I realized I sort of have to do all the plains. Like Oklahoma has more of a story that I'd like to tell. Nebraska definitely does. But the one I kept forgetting was Kansas. And I think I solved my riddle for Kansas. Um, for those of you who've been to Mount Sunflower, you're well aware that, the sign they have on the summit, uh, what is it, in 1897, 1896, absolutely nothing happened here, is probably hits a little close to home. But I've figured out a way to, what I think would be interesting for folks is uh, is a road trip starting at the Kansas low point on, I think, the Verdigris River by Coffeyville as it flows into Oklahoma, and then road trip from that particular location, the low point, to the high point, with stops along the way of cool um, sites of interest, and tell the story of Kansas. So um, it would be, I want to make, I feel Kansas gets has a reputation of being maybe a boring high point, though I have heard some epic stories of people that have failed to reach the top of Mount Sunflower for, you know, bad roads, you know, terrible weather conditions. Like it actually has a there's a failure rate with Mount Sunflower, which is sort of, I don't want to say it's um, funny. That's not quite the right word, but it's not what you would expect. So, but I feel if I can make Kansas a compelling episode, take what I originally did, which wasn't too shabby. It's just super short, and punch it out and show a little bit more. I think it could be a lot of fun. So that's what I'm thinking about doing in March. Is going to Kansas and road tripping across the state. How about that for spring break? What are you doing for spring break? Uh, Going beaches. I'm going to tropical destinations. I'm going to Kansas. So that's the plan, is to go to Kansas and do a road trip, a Kansas road trip. So who knows? And if not March, maybe April, but very soon. Kansas is definitely on the docket to redo this year. Maybe Nebraska in the latter part. And then I think I've mentioned, I know I mentioned it last time, but my three targets for this new year is Hood, Bora, and Granite. Like those would be the new ones. And so the makeups are looking, as I've started to shake it out, um, the refilms, one is Kansas. That one's actually that one moved onto the list. That wasn't even on the list, but it is now like number one on the list. The other one that was lower down but has jumped up is I want to redo Mount Mitchell. Um, Mount Mitchell, when I look at that, it was it's good, but it's short, and there's so much more to show. And I think it would be a really um, cool tale to tell for Mount Mitchell. It would actually be taking the Black Crest Trail, or the Black Mountain Crest Trail. I can't remember where it starts, but that out and back that takes you all the way down from the north down to Mitchell and then heading back. But as you go over those summits, Mount Craig, Big Tom, all those, you can really sort of tell the history of the place just by crossing over the peaks. So I think that could be really an interesting way to do something a little different for Mount Mitchell than the standard sort of episode. Like I don't. This is a peak. This is one of the peaks where, yeah, you can drive it, but I feel that um, it's the king of the East. And maybe it needs a little bit more pomp and circumstance than, hey, it's just a drive up. Yes, it is just a drive up, but it could also, you can take a different approach to it. And that hike on the Black Crest is something. Eric, are you still planning to summit Hood in May? Yeah, I actually am. I'm planning a trip there 19 through 23 May, summit attempt 20th. Brett and I have gone back and forth on dates. We got to really lock it down, but it would be that sort of time frame, right around that sort of time frame. So I'll keep you posted. I need to get in touch with the guides and figure out the plan on that. So, don't have any problems using cash and PRV? No, not at all. No, you don't have to need to worry about roaming charges for your phone. If you have, it's Puerto Rico's like I described it as one of the most foreign places in the U.S., but it's still definitely the U.S. I will say this though: once you get into the interior, like deep in the interior, uh, it is English is a you're not going to have much in the way of English. it is definitely Spanish first in the interior. And according to my buddy Sil, it is Spanish with a very distinct accent, is how he described it. Like he speaks fluent Spanish, um, and he found it fascinating. But he speaks, I want to say he speaks Spanish, if that makes sense. But according to him, think of think like he was trying to describe the Spanish in the heart of Puerto Rico, way deep in the interior, um, was um, almost like somebody speaking Cajun English or Appalachian English. It is English, but um, it's got a different dialect. So, yeah, I probably would. Here's the thing to know about Puerto Rico: the people are awesome. Everybody we interacted with, both when I was there with my folks in June and then in February 2023, was amazing. Just the best. Um, I love that island. So, no, but no, cash and cards, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Um, and yeah, give Google Translate a go. It probably will help you out. So, um, yeah, so Kansas is on the docket. North Carolina, Mount Mitchell is back on the plate, the Black Mountain Crest Trail. And then um, the um, I've been thinking about redoing Kentucky as well. Another particular high point that, well, we've talked a lot about Kentucky over the time we've been doing this live stream, and I have very distinct views on it. And I think you all are tired of hearing my views on Kentucky. But I will say this about that area: the history is amazing. Like, it is fascinating history, and I think going back to Kentucky, I want to explore that more and really dig a little more deep into um, the history of that region and give it a better. I think I gave it a good shake, but I really want to punch it out a little bit, and probably even include the Halloween story from not this past year, but the year before, uh, about, I think her name was Alice. Needless to say, uh, yes. So that's sort of how it's shaping up for redos, and then whatever targets of opportunity I can get along the way. So sometimes those things just come up. When I need something with high clearance to drive up, yeah, definitely, definitely. There's one other caveat about driving up Cerro de Punta. There is no room to go side by side. Like, if a vehicle's coming down and you're going up, that's not going to happen. When we were up there were linemen up there doing work on the towers, and their vehicle is you know, dual wheeled pickup truck with all their equipment, all that. It fit on that road, but there was no gap. So if you're going up and they're coming down, you're going to get out of the way. You're going to have to back all the way back down. So it's easier for Cerro de Punta just to hike it, just to walk it. It's, like I said, not a bad walk. If you can walk it, do the walk. So, for PRVI, would my standard $20 meal for all three budget be good for those two? If you're smart about it, I would probably want to bump you up to at least 30. At least you could probably stretch to 30. 20 might be a little 20 might be a little tight. So, what else I was going to tell you? So that looks like to be the itinerary coming up. So Kansas in March, episodes coming out. You can expect California in February, Alabama, excuse me, in March. And I'm trying to think if I got anything else in the can right now. Still got to finish series. For anybody that is um, waiting on that, I am going to get that done the first half of this year. I am committing to finishing that series. I've got the script open on another page. I just got to get it down. All right. Do you plan to do Granite over 2 days? I think it's going to end up taking us 3 for filming. I haven't given Granite enough of a shake yet. I need to, if there's one that can slip, it would probably be Granite. If there's so out of the 3 I want to tackle, Hood and Bora are further up the list than Granite is. So, Granite, I need to give a little more of address it a little more. I do think I'm going to go for the Southwest for the ramp. Is going to be the approach I want to take for Granite. More research needs to be done, and I need to talk to folks that have done it and see how they've approached it, see what their recommendations are, and then go from there. So, what else do we got? Terrible ideas. Denali Winter Solo Ascent. You know it all the way. No, Denali is the big conundrum. How do you film that? I can figure a better way to film Agrahan than I can Denali. I'm still trying to figure out what it's going to take to be able to produce a good show for Denali. The logistics of it are probably, well, it's just one of many intimidating factors, is figuring out the logistics on that. Will Granite be your first time in Grizzly Country? No. I've been in Grizzly Country before. I've never climbed in Grizzly Country before. So, but I am excited to go to the Beartooths. I'm super excited about that. I think it'll be really cool. Okay. Ultrastar, glad you're here too. Thanks for coming in. All right. I think Denali is just film point of view. Maybe. I think Denali, if I can do it like I want to do it, I think we go all out. I think you have to. It's Denali. I feel that the 2 peaks I sort of want to go all out for are the ones that are the biggest investments, Agrahan and Denali. And I feel that you just have to, you got to shoot as much as you can with every camera you can get your hands on. I mean, Denali has limiting factors. Eventually, I mean, it's way too high for even considering. Even if you got permission to fly a drone, you're not going to be flying a drone at 20,000 feet. Just not going to get the lift. So there's so much to figure out, and it really depends on what the crew is for Denali, because I can give people cameras, and we can get the shots. Um, yeah, it will definitely speak for itself. I mean, the mountain will do a ton of heavy lifting in general. It's so damn pretty. You can't really beat that. Um, Sorry about your Packers in the playoffs today. I'll make a confession. I was too busy trying to finish Puerto Rico that I didn't even watch the Packer Eagle game. Um, I've so there you go. I put Rooftops of America in front of my football team. um, because I really wanted to get that finished. So um, go Birds. I'm gonna catch it anyway from my neighbor Butch. He'll let me know tomorrow. All right. Like just something not is enough of a feat. Just let things happen and you'll end up with an awesome video. I appreciate it, Terrible. I really do. I think you're right in a lot of things. I think it's going to come to a point, though, where what I'm going to have to temper is my wants and the needs. Like, what do I want to film? What do I need to film? And then really sticking close to that need list. And trying to keep it simple. There, and that's actually, God, I could speak for a good hour on how to keep things simple. So yeah, you got a lot there. There's a lot there. Um, all right, so Seahawks are your birds, nice. Uh, what kind of food does PR and VI have? I will say one thing: if you love plantains, you're gonna love Puerto Rico, and I love plantains, so I had a blast. Um, yeah, well, that's sort of terrible. You're getting to the point. A plantain is like a starchier banana. You can fry them up. You can slice them lengthwise. They're really good. I like them a lot. Film everything on Denali and cut it together later. Basically what our that's basically been the watchwords for a lot of rooftops now that we really sort of know what we're doing is shoot as much possible footage as we can. Part of the reason Puerto Rico took forever to put together was because we shot um, so much footage. We shot hours of stuff. You'll get a tight 43 minutes. And it's a pretty good 43 minutes. Like, it's tight. We probably could have made it longer. I don't know if it would have been, I think it would have lost something. I like what we got. So, um, the biggest problem I think with filming on Denali is cold, man. Yeah, but you can get over that. Cameras these days, cold always will affect your equipment, but just pack a bunch of GoPros. If we talk about the New Year's Eve, I definitely want to go to American Samoa as the last habited place to observe the new day. American Samoa, if you go there, if you're going to make the trip all the way there, I think you have to get the high point. Lada Mountain is not on the main island, it's on the national park. And it is not an easy approach. I think I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago, but Lada Mountain will probably end up serving as one of the test runs for Agrahan. Um, that kind of tropical environment, swordgrass and all that. Mofongo, yeah, oh god, that's great. Um, yeah, you can't, man. CTOS, all I can think of now is just maybe we all need to go. Maybe the convention needs to be happen down in Puerto Rico. If we can get somebody on the board to recommend that, maybe that's where we need to go. Go to Puerto Rico and we can bag. People can bag Crown Mountain. They can bag. They can bag the Triple Crown of the Virgin Islands. and Serra de Punta. How about that? So you'd get St. John, St. Thomas, St. Croix, and while you're at it, maybe pick up Vieques and I think, is it Culebra? Maybe, but the Spanish Virgin Islands, and then Serra de Punta. So maybe that's the proposal somebody needs to make in the near future to the High Pointers crew, is that the convention for 2027 or 2028 needs to be down in Puerto Rico. If your vegan cousin comes along with it, yes, there would be. There was no, when we were there with my folks and that, there was no issue finding vegan um, options these days. It's funny. Speaking of the Netherlands, I was talking to a friend of mine, Jess, and I mentioned the Benelux extravaganza, Belgium, Netherlands, Luxembourg, and yeah, I would. I'd have to figure out how to get Saba now, because that's, I think, fairly recent. That it went back over. CTOS, if I ever start doing island living and retire out to PR, maybe that's the goal. The 78 municipalities of PR. So, all right. It's 9/11, and I've rambled on for quite a bit. I thought about doing the Belgian Netherlands high points when I was there, but it seemed a winter's night would be tricky logistically. That's right. Ron, I'm going to have to chat with you at some point about your experiences over there. That would be really cool to catch up. And yeah, because there was the other thing I'd been researching in the last 2 weeks was, if you want to, here's a game for you, Pretzel. This is right up your alley. How many European high points are not in the main country? I can think of three. We already just talked about one, the Netherlands, Saba Island. But the other two I was looking at recently fall in the same boat. Spain, theirs is in the Canary Islands, and Portugal is over in the Azores. Yeah, so there you go. Spain, Portugal, Netherlands, right off the top. So I want to say Denmark's one now too, because theirs is over in Greenland, in the Gunbjorn. Is it Gunbjorn? Whatever it is. So yeah, there's a fun little game right there. Anyway, on that bombshell, that's true. Also, the UK with South Georgia. Yes. Would you think to do any of the seven summits besides Denali? Probably Kilimanjaro. I'd probably do Kilimanjaro. And actually, you know what, Bill? You're not wrong. US in a way, too. Like the contiguous 48, and ours is up in Alaska. So great observation. Um, Kilimanjaro, the one that's on my wish list that I don't know how I'm ever going to pull it off. I've always, always had this fantasy about going to Antarctica. I am not sure why, but I want to say it's God. Why can't I think of the name? It starts with a V. I want to say Vincent, but I'm not sure if that's quite correct. Vincent Massive. Um, Needless to say, yeah, Vincent Massive. There it is. Um, that would be for me. Kilimanjaro would be cool. Vincent Massive would be something that I would cherish. Believe it or not, when we talk about high points of the earth, my ultimate mountain that I want to climb is Chimborazo. I think I probably mispronounced it, in Ecuador. Like that to me is the one mountain I really want to climb. Um, I like the idea of being closest to the sun. So it's, you can say what you want, but hey, I actually made a vacation before for a teacher wanted us to pick a place that is for not a good vacation spot. Depends. I'd probably love to see your brochure. For me, Antarctica has always held this great. A long time ago, right after I got out of the service and I was trying to figure out what I was going to do, I was actually looking at logistics and supply gigs at McMurdo on Antarctica. Um, don't ask me why. I think there's just something about it. Um, I find it interesting. I'm probably a little nuts for thinking that, but hey. Um, so anyway, on that note, I really appreciate you all coming on around. It's great to see you all. Happy New Year's to you all. I hope this 2025 will be a good year. I hope we all have success with our high pointing adventures, and there will be more stuff coming for Rooftops of America, and there will be more stuff coming for Rooftops of the Solar System. And there's probably going to be more stuff coming for Fearsome Critters, which is, I think, the first time I've actually mentioned the name of the series, the other series I'm working on. I think I've told you about Seeking the Signers, but there's another series, Fearsome Critters. So more on that coming soon. And on that, I'll see you all soon. Thanks for dropping in. Happy New Year's.